Hello, my name is Akbar. This is my final project for CEP 412 Diversity and Human Relations. So basically, I have decided to do a PowerPoint of different topics, and I feel like that this course has been very beneficial. So let's get started. So the question asked was, what have you learned about yourself and your understanding of diversity? One of the things I would like to point out is that I have been able to participate in various projects such as the poverty simulator, the immersion activity, the media mining. The poverty simulator was actually one of my favorites because it gave me a certain perspective that I have not been able to see before. Because for me personally, I have never been short of food, water. Um, I'm covered under my mom's health insurance. So just to see all those different payments and the struggle, there has, not been much changes within pay structure and whatnot. It's a very saddening and eye-opening experience. I think it's one of the things that should be shown to others so that people can be more sympathetic towards each other. The immersion activity was also fun for me too, because I got to explore one of my friend's religion. She's Hindu. I did not know much about it, and I think that was an exciting opportunity. And then the media mining one, I believe I wrote about Salima Masari, the governor of the former um, government of Afghanistan. She fought for women's rights. She was a very strong leader, and there was so much in that article about how women's rights are under attack, education, and so much more. One of the main points that I took away from this course is that diversity is more than inclusion. One of the standard definitions for diversity is that if you should include someone in a group, have a diverse group, and groups are important. And the more diverse a group is, the more that we can learn and gather. However, I believe, after revising all this material, that it's important to have the correct intentions. If you have a biased opinion and you don't attempt to change or grow, I think grow is the better word, then are you really practicing inclusion, or are you more than putting on a performance? So it's important to enact inner growth, reflect on yourself, and change starts from within. And that is a point that I will make a couple times during this video. Change starts within. In order to change something, you must start from within. And that can be referenced between the last couple chapters of RDSJ. It did state that the first stage to change is to acknowledge that there is a problem. Once you acknowledge that there's a problem, you reflect on it. You say, can I do anything to help make the situation better? One of the things that was very eye-opening, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm using that term way too much, was a wage gap, racism, inequality, lack of educational resources. So that is just like something that I feel like was a very important to learn about. This course also helped me to embrace my own culture, to be proud of me. Throughout my middle and high school years, I used to get bullied due to my faith and culture. But the thing is, if we were all the same, if everybody was exactly the same, the world would have been a very boring place. So I just wanted to share a little piece of my culture. I've been exploring um, this traditional form of music called kawali, and it has lots of like life and moral themes to it, and also some religious ones too. But a lot of the poems have came from the 14th century by the poet Americo Sproul. So I just wanted to share a little snippet of it. I just hope this works out. So that was actually part of a poem called Mankontomola. So it does reference the grandson of the Holy Prophet. By the way, I'm Muslim. So this is I'm sorry, not the grandson, the cousin of the Holy Prophet. It references his life. It's a very beautiful kawali or song. I just wanted to share part of that. I'm starting to explore this whole entire genre of music, and it's very soul touching for me. I am unsure if it played in this video. If not, I'll just include the links on a separate document with my final submission. Okay. So the next question was, what have you learned about the world around you? So when I saw this question, it reminded me of something. I use a social media app, TikTok, and often at times there's these heated debates, and if it could be something about climate change, or just other hot topics at the moment. So often at times that this person would say, "We don't need to do this. This is um, like this is the American way. This is how we have to do it." And then this person from like Europe or and the Asian countries would say, "You're not the only country in the world. Um, this matter can affect all of us." So instead of being divisive and saying that this is my nation, this is how our nation views this, and this is how this should occur, we should all work on this issue together. So one of the main takeaways is that we definitely have a lot to work on. It's just, it's the harsh truth, but there has been significant progress. I mean, if you look at the 1960s versus now 2021, things have changed a lot. But there's just so much hurt. There's so much things we have to work on. RDSJ chapter 28, it discussed redlining and, how these politicians would make districts and they would cut around and affect voting and whatnot. It was a very interesting read. I thought I'd just bring it up. it just really talks about the origins of wealth and wealth inequality from the times of slavery, and how this a sense of inequality through redlining, through the grandfather clause, through other voting issues like the literacy examinations. It just really talks about a lot of that stuff. Another thing that I've been reminded of with this course is that one of my inspirations for just, I guess, life in general is Malala Yousafzai. Um, if you remember, she stood up for women's rights to an education in Pakistan, and she was shot by the Taliban for it, but thankfully she survived. This is her website, and it talks about girls' education. So let's load this website really quick. And the thing is, why are more than 130 million girls out of school? Child labor, early marriage, conflict, refugee camps. People end up in refugee camps. Their main priority is survival, not school. Cost, gender bias. And gender bias is a very huge issue that we need to work on. It's just, yeah. And then there's health, natural disasters, and poor quality. So when this question is asking, what have you learned about the world around you? I have learned a lot. I have learned that there's a lot of issues that we need to work on. The thing is, which issues should we work on first? Should it be climate change? Should it be education? Should it be racial issues? What should it be? I feel like education is a very important thing to me. And that's why I just wanted to bring this up. If I would advocate for anything, for me, like if you were to tell me go pick something and go advocate it for right now, it would be the right to an education, because education allows for people to learn about the world around us. It allows us to get a better sense of how things work. It allows us to learn about each other. And if we can't learn about each other, how can we love each other as a world, as a humanity? The next question, how might your understanding of diversity influence your future career? Um, Sorry, for a second, I thought I wasn't screen sharing. I had a mini scare. So it is my goal to be a school counselor. I'm thinking high school because I feel like middle to high school is an age where there can be a lot of mental health problems. You are going into more of developing your identity of how do I stand out. The idea of diversity is that each of us have these differences within each other. And these differences is what makes us beautiful. Um, and sometimes this world can be harsh. So someone might wonder, why am I being treated this way? Why am I being bullied for the color of my skin? Um, why do bad things happen? Why does poverty exist? Like, all of these are excellent questions. This course has been insightful to some of those questions. And I just think that this course has allowed me to encourage the best out of each future student, to tell them that, hey, it's okay to be you, that this is the way you're supposed to be treated. And, if someone is not treating you correctly, let me talk to them. Let me help you. I feel like that is the important role of the school counselor, to be there for each student and to acknowledge everybody's difference, to acknowledge their uniqueness, their sense of identity. That makes them feel safe and appreciated, especially during these confusing years of forming your own identity and personality. Um, I want to help to encourage leadership roles. One of the most recent papers we read was how women are more likely to not engage in leadership roles due to societal stigma. I want to encourage that if you feel that you can do a job, if you feel like you can make a difference, go right ahead for it. And one of the main takeaways from this course is that it's always important to listen. Listen, listen, listen. Because by listening, you are, um, acknowledging that, hey, I care about what you think, I care about what you feel. And I feel like that is the first step to change. What do others think? And if others have similar thoughts and issues, how can we turn this into something that can be an actual way of change? So how will I continue to extend and expand my multicultural awareness, knowledge, and skills? This class has really inspired me, and I'm a psych major too, to take future classes relating to diversity, inclusion. I want to take classes about identity and personality. I already took personality psych, very interesting. Now, as you may tell, my favorite textbook is RDSJ. I just found it, first of all, I just loved how short the chapters were. I'm not going to lie. The chapters were short and I really liked that. But they were also very well written. I loved the voice that the authors used. There were short essays from different people of different backgrounds, different authors, rather than having just one textbook written by the same author. I got to have multiple perspectives, and that's something I really enjoyed. So I'm definitely going to keep this textbook, the RDSJ, and I want to continue to learn about it. In order to learn about the world around me, I think it's important that we read the news more often to learn about matters around us. Before this class, I would have not known who Salima Mazari was. Without the news, I would not know who Malala Yousafzai was. I would not know much about, different leaders. The news is important. The news is our connection to not only our community, but to the world around us. And lastly, I want to get involved. Um, I want to make sure that, everyone has a fair chance. And that is a huge task to say. But, the little differences that we can make, if everyone does a little difference, it can add up to something much bigger. The most things that I enjoyed about this course was the discussion board posts. Now, that might be a little silly to some, but I really enjoyed writing to other students, especially since this was a asynchronous course. I just loved gathering each other's opinions. That's something that I truly enjoyed. The poverty simulator I did mention earlier, I did like this activity. It was very insightful to many of the issues that we as Americans face. And, the question is, knowing now what we know, how can we go forward? Um, you know, um, there are programs, but like food distribution, there is welfare programs, but how can we make sure that all these programs are accessible to those who need it? It's not like you can just go and get a list of everything you need. You have to go to different offices, different sign-up areas. It's just, so not everybody may have the means of transportation and whatnot. The cost of living has risen, but the federal minimum wage has not risen. That's also things to take into consideration. This course has been very insightful. The most challenging thing has been the Understanding Human Differences reading. I enjoyed DSJ. I did not really enjoy this textbook. I just think that RDSJ set the bar really high. But UHD, it was beneficial in terms of learning. It's just it wasn't my main preference. So for me to read this textbook, that was my main challenge. Yeah. And how can this course might be improved? So my suggestion is that there can be no word count on discussion board posts for assignments. I completely agree. For discussion board posts, I just think that it there's this like weird urge to get this word count for the discussion board post. So often at times you keep hearing, hi, insert name here. Like example, like Mike. Hi, Mike. I really enjoyed reading your post, and I thought there was this and that. And we always use the same sentences over and over. One of my classes, it was LIN 207, Language, Society, and the Individual. Um, Mr. Oka, the teacher, he did not have any word count for the discussion board post, but every week we would have a discussion board post. Um, and I feel like we were able to have more meaningful discussions and that we weren't so much focused on the word count, but rather we were more focused on the content in the material, and it wasn't as stressful as, oh, I need to reach this amount or else my grade will not be the best. Now, in terms of assignments, I completely agree. There should definitely be a word count for those. And those require obviously more planning. Excuse me. My reference section, I will include a list of the links in a separate document with my final submission. Okay, so that is my final PowerPoint project. One of the things I wanted to say was thank you very much for being so accommodating with the passing of my uncle. It really meant the world to me with all the support and help that I got. Um, thank you so much again. And this course has been amazing. I absolutely loved it. And definitely, I would recommend 10 out of a 10 in this course to anybody, really. I suppose that is all. Thank you and have a wonderful winter break.